गलद्दानगण्डं नीलद्भृङ्गखण्डं चलच्चारुशुण्डं जगत्त्राणशौण्डं लसद्दन्तकाण्डं विपद्भङ्गचण्डं शिवप्रेमपिण्डं भजे वक्रतुण्डम्। अहं निर्विकल्पो निराकाररूपो विभुर्व्याप्य सर्वत्र सर्वेन्द्रियाणां सदा मे समत्वं न मुक्तिर्न बन्धः चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तन्नमामि। श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। जय जय रघुवीर समर्थ। We'll do a little bit of Naam Japa chanting for 2-3 minutes. You can chant with me. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 प्रभु श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। जय जय रघुवीर समर्थ। bow at the lotus feet of Prabhu Shree Ramachandra. I also bow at the lotus feet of my Sadguru, Param Pujya Dr. Shri Krishna Dattatreya Deshmukh, who we fondly call as Dr. Kaka. I also bow at the feet of Param Pujya Mandate Gandhi. And I welcome you all by saying, तुम्ही श्रोते जगदीश मूर्ती, तेथे माझी व्युत्पत्ती किती, बुद्धिहीन अल्पमती सलगी करीतो शिरीना. तुम्हा सर्वांना सप्रेम अभिवादन. It is not easy to be at a place at 6:30 sharp on Monday evening, which is a weekday, especially when it has already been declared that it is a spiritual discourse. So all you brave hearts and souls, I really welcome you and congratulate you, appreciate that. Basically shows that there is some fire in the heart. Everybody is interested in knowing how do I make spiritual progress. I have been requested to speak in English. I assume there are some non-Marathi speakers here, listeners. So I will try my best to use this handicap language to explain profound spiritual concepts. But because there are no non-Indians here, and even if they are present, these are some of the disclaimers I typically make. I refuse to translate some of the words. I will not translate religion as dharma, for example. I will not say atma as soul, because it is not. I will avoid the word bliss for ananda, because it is not. And that very concept is not there in the English language, so they did not coin the word. And no word can do the justice. Unfortunately, if I say Ananda, I'm sure here everybody understands what I mean. So I don't have to. It doesn't mean that I may not use the word bliss, but I will, as far as possible, avoid and continue using words like this. With that little bit of disclaimer, let's turn to today's topic, which is Naam Sadhana. That's a topic, right? When I heard that topic, or maybe this thought might have crossed the minds of some of you, maybe, that it's pretty interesting, isn't it, that Nama Sadhana, what if we do Nama Japa? So I'm again avoiding the word chanting. I somehow don't like it. And again, you understand Nama Japa, so it's okay. Nama Sadhana, Nama Japa. So how about doing Nama Japa itself for 1 hour instead of talking about it? Right? I mean, if this thought crosses your mind, there's nothing wrong about it. Absolutely. Should we eat a mango or should we describe what mango is? Is the question. But yes, if you don't know how to know what is mango, what mango is, you can't even tell a difference between, let's say, a banana and a mango. You don't understand whether the mango is ripe enough. You don't understand the difference between a pure Alfonso versus the one we are sold as Alfonso here in US. And we pay $5 for that piece, right? All of you, we share that experience. Jokingly speaking, the whole point is, if you know, then makes sense. Just go and eat a mango. Like Gondolikar Maharaj says, you don't need to go to any school to learn how to eat a mango. Should I start from the bottom, should from the top, from the side, left, right, doesn't matter. Mango is a mango. You just eat it. And no matter how much you talk about the mango, you can only experience it when you actually yourself taste the mango. Exactly with Nama Sadhana and Nama Smara. So then why are we talking about it is the question, right? And this is why I kind of use that as an example, as a metaphor, that I'm sure some of you, maybe all of you, have been doing Nama Japa, or you do occasionally, maybe you do regularly. Great. That's why I said, if you know the depth, if you know what the Nama Sadhana mean, you understand it very well what the Nama mean. What is it going to give me? What is it going to offer me at the end of this entire journey? Then yes, absolutely. There is no need to talk about it. But if you don't, there's a very good verse. So we are going to discuss this topic with the help of spiritual science, which is called Adhyatma Shastra, and saint scripture, Sant Sahitya, like Jnaneshwari, Dasbodh, Tukaram Maharajansa Katha, etc. With that help, we will understand, we are trying to understand, today's objective is, what is Nama Sadhana? So essentially the way we are going to discuss this topic in the given amount of time is, we'll try to understand why. Why should I even do it? I see a young face here. If they ask you, why should I do it? What if I don't? Can you explain as a parent? And forget about them. Have we even understood ourselves? Why am I doing Nama Sadhana? Just because somebody said so? Just because it is good for your spiritual progress? Of course it is. But what is it going to give me? What is exactly going to happen? What is that process? And by the way, how do I do the sadhana, the real way, the correct way of doing the Nama Sadhana? So essentially what I'm talking about is, we will discuss the framework I'm keeping in front of you is why, the what, and the how. How to do it? What is it exactly? And like I said, why should I do it? Why should I do it? So there is a very good verse, like I was saying, why should we even discuss about it? Why should not do the Nama Sadhana? And I mentioned I'm going to take help from this scripture. So Jnaneshwar Maharaj in Jnaneshwari say, there's a very good verse, Ovi Jala Manta, Krishna Vishnu Hari Govinda, Ya Namase Nikhil Prabandha, Maji Atma Charcha Vishad Udanda Gati. Those who are Marathi here must have grasped at least some part of it. May not be entirely, because it's Marathi from Jnaneshwari, from 1300 BC already. But it's difficult to understand that Marathi as is. So what Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying, Krishna Vishnu Hari Govinda, Ya Namatse Nikhila Prabandha. Prabandha basically means, like for example, a garland here, right? This garland is a prabandha of flowers. Understood? A repetition. Prabandha is a repetition. Repetition of what? Repetition of flowers is a garland. So repetition of Krishna, Vishnu, Hari, Govinda, etc. These are the examples. It's a garland, isn't it? We keep chanting, we keep repeating that name. There is a repetition. So that's called Nama Japa. Is that sufficient? Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying no. In the very next verse, or the next part of the same verse, what is he saying? Maji Atma Charcha Vishad Udanda Gati. Maji Atma Charcha basically means contemplation, meditation. There are different words for it. I'm trying to use as close words in English as possible. Chintan, Atma Charcha. And that is the topic of today's speech, by the way. That is what essentially we are trying to do. We are trying to understand what is the science behind Nama Sadhana. What does it give me? What is the right way to do it? What is Nam after all? What is Nami? What is my relationship with him? Nami means God, for example, Lord. Again, God is also a word that doesn't do justice, but we'll get there slowly. So let's have a different starting position. So these are some of the problem statements I laid out in front of you. Let's think about our life for a while. Our life is full of misery, displeasure, things that doesn't happen according to my wish, that makes me unhappy. Maybe, different incidents, different things I have to face in my life. Recently there had been COVID, for example. We might have lost our loved ones during that pandemic. Somebody might have lost their job. Things may not be happening according to your wish. I don't want to describe that because that's our biography, everybody's biography here anyway. That's our faces look like this, right? The way I'm looking at right now. My whole point is, दुःख आहे आपल्या जीवनामध्ये. There is unhappiness all the time. There is a very beautiful Shruti from Taittiriya Upanishad. That Shruti goes like this. Taittiriya Upanishad says, Yada charma vadakasham veshtayishyandi manavaha tada devam abhidnyaya dukkhasyanto bhavishyati. What is it saying? Yada charma vadakasham. There's a metaphor given. If you can cover the sky I'm saying, with your skin, yada charma vadakasham akasham. If you can cover the entire sky with your skin, yada charma vadakasham veshtayishanti manavaha. If the humans can do that, then. So it's a little bit of negation to make a point. If you can do this, so basically what they are saying, it is impossible to do. Similarly, tada devam abhidnyaya. Without knowing the God, without realizing the God, without realizing the divine, your own divine nature, the divinity within you, you will find happiness, or you will find ananda. No, happiness is the wrong word. I will tell you why in the course of time. So they are basically saying, as that thing is impossible to do, this thing is also impossible to do. You will never have ananda in your life if you do not realize your own divinity. Simple. That is exactly what this Taittiriya Upanishad Shruti is trying to teach us. I said happiness is not ananda. Why did I say that? Because all of us are seeking happiness, aren't we? Not only all of us, by the way, all 7 billion people on this planet are seeking happiness. I will go even beyond. Not only 7 billion people on the planet, even all the animals included, every living organism on this planet is seeking happiness, believe it or not. To give you an extreme example, a person who is trying to even commit suicide is also seeking happiness. There is something that has come in his or her way of happiness. That's why they are even ready to give up their life, thinking they will get out of all this misery by doing that. Of course, a wrong thought and a wrong method, but the driving force is still the same. Seeking happiness, right? Agree? This is not a rocket science. Then the question becomes, all of us here, maybe average age, I don't know, maybe 40, let's take 40, 45, 50, whatever it is. For 40 years, 50 years of our life, single pointed agenda, I want happiness. Nobody likes unfavorable things in their life. And we have been trying for that. Right from the first waking moment of the day till the time we go to the bed, isn't that our agenda? Means might be different. Somebody says, okay, if I get $1 million, I'll be happy. Somebody says, if my mother-in-law, controversial topic. Maybe I shouldn't give that example. Jokes again. But if she behaves the way I want her to behave, I'll be happy. If my husband listens to me, I'll be happy. If my wife doesn't behave the way I don't want her to behave, I'll be happy. I can go on and on. My point is, the currency is the same, happiness. So the question is, Have you realized that? Is there anybody who can raise his or her hand saying, yes, I have been 100% successful in doing that? Nobody, no one, not a single person on this planet, by the way. Amazing thing, isn't it? How can 7 billion people go wrong about it? Except some honorary names who we call Sant. That means, what a blunder, isn't it? Something is fundamentally flawed, our approach is fundamentally flawed. And that is what the Taittiriya Upanishad Shruti is telling me, that yes, your approach is flawed. Why? Because you are constantly seeking happiness. And the fundamental rule of Vedanta is that the person who become happy must become unhappy. You may be happy today, yeah. I mean, it's not that we haven't experienced happiness. Otherwise, we would have been on the spiritual path from probably day one of our life. Yeah, we experience sometimes here and there, but we also become unhappy. Why? Because those are the two sides of the same coin. You cannot say कि चित चलेगा लेकिन पट नहीं चलेगा. Can you say that? You cannot. Head and tail goes together. That is the fundamental principle of Vedanta. Sukha is a word probably even Hindi people understand, right? Sukha, there is an opposite word to that. What is? Dukkha. Everybody knows the answer. Experience it, right? You'll be amazed to know there is no opposite word to Ananda. Anandala viruddharti shabda nahi. It is us who we use the word Ananda in place of Sukha. आपण आलात मला आनंद वाटला. We say that. It's okay. What you say is fine. व्यवहार चालतो त्याच्यावरती. But the whole point is, we are actually talking about Sukha झालं. Because there is opposite word to Sukha, which is Dukkha. But Ananda, there is no opposite word. Point. Ananda is different than happiness or Sukha. And throughout our life, we have been trying to become happy, and that itself is a problem. Because those who become happy, they must become unhappy. We just learned the rule of Vedanta. And whether, that's another beauty by the way of this, whether you are an atheist, whether you are an Indian, whether you believe in this, whether you don't believe in this, whether you don't even believe in God, doesn't matter. All of us, everybody is bound by these rules, because these rules are made by the Lord Himself. As I said, those even apply to the non-human beings. But we are so fortunate to be born as a human being, because this is the only exit route of all this. This is the only life form where there is a chance of experiencing Ananda. That dog and that cat and that cow, they don't. That's why they are called as Bhoga Yoni. Bhogas, you understand? Bhoga Yoni. They are born just to have experienced their bhoga. They do not have vivek. They cannot do a vivek. Vivek, understand? Discernment of your intellect. It's called vivek. What is right? What is wrong? Only humans can do that. Imagine what we have gotten. Durlabam trayam eva etat devanugraha hetukam manushyatvam mumukshatvam maha purusha samshraya. Bhagavan Srimad Adya Shankaracharya speaking in Viveka Chudamani. Durlabam trayam eva etat. There are three very rare things we have. And that the first one he says, manushyatvam. Anybody has a doubt whether they are human or not? You can raise the hand. All of us are born as human. We have already achieved 1/3, by the way. Because I don't have time to go into that topic, how difficult it is to get a human birth. But keep that in mind. If time permits, after my speech, we can discuss about that also. Very rare, but all of us are fortunate to be born as humans. Manushyatvam, mumukshatvam. Monday evening, 6:30 p.m. you guys are here. We passed the second test also. And then he says third is Mahapurusha Samshraya. Our third criteria is Mahapurusha Samshraya. If you are fortunate enough to have Sadguru, blessed by Sadguru, His grace, then you have got all three. There is a great potential of experiencing that Ananda now. There is a tremendous potential. So now this, coming back to that Shruti is saying, Tada Devam Abhijnaya. So let's remove that negation now. Let's make it in a more positive sense. So if you can realize God, if you can experience your own divinity, then you will experience Ananda, and then all the misery in life will be gone forever. जो सुखी होण्याचा प्रयत्न करतो त्याला दुःखी व्हावंच लागतं, हा नियम आहे. म्हणून तर आपल्या जीवनात हे हेलकावे सुरू आहेत, सुख दुःख सुख दुःख. But once you experience that bliss, that ananda, there is no going back again. But जीवनात दुःख नसतंच का? There is no misery in life. That is not what being said here. I'll give you big examples. Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he was experiencing, or he had throat cancer. I don't know how many of you know. Swami Vivekananda had asthma. Gondolikar Maharaj had his own family issues, if I may call it. What is the difference between them and me then? I also experience cancer. They also do. What is the difference? सुंदर वाक्य तुम्हाला सांगतो. दुख है लेकिन दुखी नहीं है. दुख है, दुखी नहीं है. Why? Because that Kriyaman Karma Swatantriya has been given to us as human beings. That's why I'm saying we are fortunate to be born. Tam vidya dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga saudnitam. Bhagavad Gita speaking. Tam vidya, kunti vidya, dukkha sanyoga viyoga. See, today we have communion with that misery, that pain, that unhappiness. We have become one with it. But Bhagavan Gopal Krishna is saying, Tam vidya dukkha sanyoga viyoga. And that is called yoga. That is called yoga. And they have experienced that yoga in its full essence, in its true magnificence. That's why we call them saints. It doesn't make any difference to them. Well, I have a body. One day I might get a heart attack. One day I might get a cancer. One day I might have something else. It's okay. Because the body is bound by what is called prarabdha, the destiny. But destiny cannot enforce itself on me. There is no compulsion, by the way, that I must accept it. That compulsion is not there. So I can reject it. But that happens when we realize God, our divinity again. So, but then the next question becomes, why did what happened? If the divinity is within me, if I am that very divinity, saha aham soham, so why don't I experience it? Next logical question, right? Why don't I experience it? Dhaneshwar Maharaj says again in Dhaneshwari, Bahuta eka avantar, अहंकाराचा भूत संचर, म्हणून जाहाला विसरू आत्मबोधाचा. बहुता एक अवांतर. When did that happen? Yesterday? No. 10 years ago? No. 15 years ago? No. The moment I was born? No. Even before that. Bahuta. It has not been said 1,000 years, 5,000 years, 10,000 years. No. Bahuta eka avantaru. It is like a circle. Can you show the starting point of a circle? No. Question is only how do we get out of it? म्हणून बहुता एका अवांतरू, व्हेरी लॉंग टाइम बॅक काय झालं? अहंकाराचा भूतसंचरू. अहंकाराचा भूतसंचरू. अहंकार, ego. And when I say ego, I'm not talking about a gross form of ego. Like we say, this person is very egoist. Whenever we say person is egoist, we always talk about somebody else, not me. Because I self-certify myself, I don't have any ego. No, according to Dhaneshwar Maharaj, everybody has ego. Every single person who thinks I am this body has an ego. Period. That is a subtle ego I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the gross ego. Of course, they are definitely bad. We shouldn't have those. We should definitely don't have those. Why? Because though that ego is what is blocking that experience. म्हणून थोरपण पराची सांडीजे, व्युत्पत्ती आघवी विसरीजे, जे जगा धाकुटे होईजे तई जवळीक माझी. ज्ञानेश्वर महाराज. म्हणून थोरपण पराची सांडीजे. Yeah, you might be CEO of a company. Yeah, you might be a double PhD sitting here. You might be like the great mind of your domain, of your whatever expertise you got. Great, nothing wrong about it. Nobody is saying, your Naneshwar Maharaj is not saying, spiritual science is not saying that you should not have it. Problem is having constant remembrance of that. जाणीव. एक खूप सूक्ष्म विचार तुम्हाला आता मी शिकवतोय. अहंकार म्हणजे काय? What is exactly ego? What is the definition of an ego? For example, you might be a very rich person. Let's say you are a billionaire. Assume. वचने किम दरिद्रता. I didn't say billionaire, right? Now, if a billionaire person, he is not going to drive Toyota Corolla. He is going to drive Lamborghini, right? Nothing wrong with that. But if he is in a constant remembrance of that fact that I am a very rich person, I am very successful, I can do whatever I want, that is ego. So ego has nothing to do about your situation. It is the constant remembrance of the situation is called ego. म्हणून ज्ञानेश्वर महाराज is saying, व्युत्पत्ती आघवी विसरीजे. See, if there is a, for example, there was a lengthy introduction of mine, right? Or if somebody says somebody is trying to introduce somebody, he is so and so, by the way, he is a double PhD, he is a physicist, whatever. Okay, at that time you will remember, which is perfectly fine. That is part of the vyavahar आपण ज्याला म्हणतो. But if I am myself in constant remembrance that wherever I go, I carry that baggage and I expect people to treat me accordingly. You know who I am? Who's who? That is ego. And Naneshwar Maharaj is saying, Vyutpatti agavi visarije. But why? Why should I do this? What's the problem with having ego? Another क्वेश्चन, बंडखोरीचा प्रश्न. ज्ञानेश्वर महाराजांनी त्याचं उत्तर पुढच्याच ओळीत दिलेलं आहे. जे जगा धाकुटे होईजे तई जवळीक माझी. The very God realization, the very realization of the divinity within me is being blocked because of that damn ego. म्हणजे माझ्या दुःखाला कारण कोण आहे? What is the root cause of my unhappiness in my life? My own very ego. And yes, again, I'm not talking about the gross ego. I'm talking about the fundamental ego that I am this body, I am this mind, I am this intellect, all the panchakoshas. One might identify themselves with the body, one might identify themselves with the mind, etc. Keeping track of the time. You must be thinking probably, Mangesh Dada has forgotten about the topic. No, I have not. Because without knowing all this, if you are doing Naam Sadhana, that is in vain. And that is why we are not able to get what Naam Sadhana is ready to offer us. या नरदेहाची संबंधे नाना साधनाची द्वारे मुख्य सारासार विचार बहुत सुटले. समर्थ स्पीकिंग इन दासबोध, समर्थ रामदास स्वामी. या नरदेहाची साधने संबंधे. Naradeha, human body. I told you, this is the life form to achieve all this. Nana sadhaneci dware. There are different ways to do it. Yeah, there is a yoga, there is jnana, there is upasana, there is bhakti. There are multiple ways. Fortunately, all of us are Indians. That's the beauty of Indian culture and Arya Sanatana Vedika Hindu Dharma. That there is no one size that fits all. Or my way is highway. No. He might find bhakti more, complementary to his nature. He might find jnana, he might find yoga. It's okay. There's nothing wrong about it because the final destination is still the same. So, nana sadhana chini dware. पण मुख्य काय म्हटलंय, सारा सार विचारे बहुत सुटले. That is that Atmacharcha I was talking about. So coming back to the topic, the Nama Sadhana, this is the best approach, especially in the Kali Yuga. And that has been unanimously certified by all the saints alike. Show me one saint from anywhere, not only Maharashtra, even beyond Maharashtra. Maharashtra is a Santanchi Bhumi's म्हटलं, we are fortunate. There is a lineage, continuous lineage. But show me one saint who has said, no, Nama Sadhana is not important. No. There are different ways, but Nama Sadhana, again, Dhaneshwar Maharaj says, Nama Japa to Yajna Parama. Nama Japa Yajna Parama na badhu shake snanadi karma. Name Pavana Dharma Dharma Nama Parabrahma Vedarthi. I am slowly introducing the definition of Nama itself. I said why, what and how. So I'm not going to say why is over now, let's talk about how and what. It's going to be intermixed. And we are essentially now getting into the second part of the speech. What is it Nama? Because we always think, I will say Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, I will say Om Namah Shivaya, I will say Digambara, Digambara. Then something will happen. Yes, at a certain stage it is a sadhan, but inherently it is the sadhya itself. That itself is a final destination. If you study the biography of Gondolekar Maharaj, if you try to understand what he's trying to say when he says Nama, he's actually talking about the Brahman itself. Nama म्हणजेच ब्रह्म. मग आता ज्ञानेश्वर महाराज काय म्हणाले या ओळीमध्ये, नाम परब्रह्म वेदार्थी. But what happens is, when I am doing Nama Japa, when I am doing Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, I am actually not doing, that's what the problem is. My mind is wandering all over the place. I am only interested in completing 108, that magic figure. You know? हातात माळ फिरत असते, तोंडात जीभ फिरत असते, आणि माझं मन जगभर फिरत असते. That is a problem. That is what the problem is. And there is another beautiful verse from Dhaneshwari. Dhaneshwar Maharaj says, Taya swantah karana jita sakala kamopashanta Paramatma parauta duri nahi. We are talking about experiencing the divinity, right? Dhaneshwar Maharaj is giving it here as a formula. Paramatma parauta duri nahi. It is not that far, it is not that difficult to experience the divinity as we think it is. But when Taya swantah karana jita, स्वतःचं अंतःकरण ज्यांनी जिंकलेलं आहे, those who have all the control over their senses and the desires, तया स्वांतःकरण जीता सकल कामोपशांता. तीच तर समस्या आहे सगळी. Because we think that if all my wishes are fulfilled, I will be the happiest person on the planet. And we already described that it is never ever going to happen. My own life of last 50, 60 years is a living proof of that. And I still continue on the same path. If I'm not wrong, it was Einstein who said, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is called stupidity. I leave it at that. I don't want to further explain that, because it is self-explanatory. That is essentially what we are doing in our life. And the beauty is, everybody is still seeking happiness. Methods are wrong. And we keep doing the same thing. 50 years are over of life, 60 years, 70 years are over. The rest of whatever the life is has been given by Lord to us. प्रारब्धाने जे काही मिळालं आहे जीवन आपल्याला. If you continue doing that and expect a different result, not going to work. So Paramatma parauta duri nahi. It is not that far as you think it is. First of all, it is right here. It is right here. तैसा हृदयामध्ये मी रामू असता सर्व सुखाचा आरामू. It is the very source of that happiness. I am that source, by the way. I am the very source. Again, I don't have too much time to talk about everything, but yesterday I explained that concept. How the very ती जी प्रेरणा आहे ना सुखाची, the source of that prerana itself is the ananda. Isn't that a fascinating thing? Like I just said, 7 billion people on the planet. Aren't they seeking the same thing? And I also said not only 7 billion people, but all even other organisms if we include. I myself always find it fascinating because there is so much variety. We are talking about different life forms. Even within humans, there is so much variety. We are so diverse in nature. But how can there be one thing common in all of us? That everybody is seeking happiness. Yeah, even that cow. You offer her food, she will come to you. You go with the stick, she will run away from you. You try to catch a chicken to kill it, it will run away from you. Why? Because they also care for their life. They also want happiness. They are also seeking happiness. That's the fascinating thing because that is the very source, I'm saying. That is the source of Ananda. That's from where all these basic instincts of I want happiness, I want to survive, and I want to know. These are the three basic instincts, by the way. These are the manifestations of that spiritual reality. Sat, Chit, Anand, the very Brahman, which is our divine nature again. So the question then becomes is, why am I not experiencing it? If I am that very Tattva, Brahman, what is blocking? Well, welcome to Naam Sadhana. That is the way to achieve that. But if I do it in the right way. So there is a difference between, now let's talk a little bit about how part of it. How to do it. What is the right way of doing it? By the way, there are two words, right? There is a Nama Smarana and there is Nama Sadhana. You know these two words, I'm sure you must have heard about it. There is a difference. What is the difference? Nama Smarana is like, let's say you guys are driving a car. Now driving a car has become like a second nature to me. Why? If when you are driving a car, imagine, do you constantly think about driving? That, oh, I should now turn the wheel like this, left, right, I should now apply the brake, now I should apply the gas. No, it just happens. You're in your own thoughts, you're thinking about office, you're thinking about your boss, you're thinking about your boss in the house, etc. I stop at that. But if there is a suddenly a red light, you hit the brakes. That basically means second nature, right? So can you chant, can you do Nama Japa while driving? Of course you can, because you are anyway thinking about all the useless things in life anyway, which is not going to make any big difference in your life. So that is called Nama Smaran, because that's a remembrance. But what happens is your half of your attention is on the outward things for obvious reasons. Otherwise there will be an accident. But most of the things where you do not have to apply your brain, things like watering plants, driving, polya karna, cooking, it has become such a routine task that you don't have to especially think about it while doing it. So that is a great opportunity to do Namasmarana. Absolutely, and you must do it. Because that then helps the real Nama Sadhana I am talking about. So I am trying to differentiate between Nama Smarana and Nama Sadhana. So now what is Nama Sadhana? Nama Sadhana is when you actually sit down. You close your eyes. Maybe you take that Japamala or you don't. That's an optional thing, by the way. Having that Japamala in your hand serves some purpose. What is the purpose it serves? It helps you follow certain discipline, right? Because if I don't have a discipline, most of the people say that, yeah, that's why we have a New Year resolution, right? Don't we? For last 20 years, I've been doing the same resolution. 1st of January, I will go to the gym. I'll get up early in the morning, go to the gym. I'm doing that for last 20 years. That's our resolutions. But at least that resolution make me go to the gym at least for first 1 week of the year. So that is human psychology. If you don't bind yourself in certain constraints or rules, you don't feel like doing it. That is the only purpose of that Japamala in your hand, by the way. But what happens We are so clever beings, we get caught up in the numbers. Right? I'm doing that Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Sri Ram. Like, after a while I open my one eye. Oh, where is that Merumani? अजून आला नाही का? कारण माझे बाहेरचे विचार करून संपले पण अजून मेरुमणी नाही आला. This is how we fool ourselves. Why? Because I'm more interested in the Merumani. You are not supposed to cross that main Merumani, right? You have to फिरून घ्यावी लागते मला. You change the direction again. So, are you interested in the Prabhu Shri Rama whose name you are chanting, or you are more interested in completing that 108 and counting it like that for 12 times and keep it down as soon as it is done? Yes, that is exactly what I am interested in. म्हणून तर मला राम नाही भेटला आतापर्यंत. कारण राम काय म्हणतो? राम, प्रभू श्रीराम असं म्हणतात, you are only interested in counting. Some people write down, right? Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. I have seen people like they fill pages and pages and then they celebrate. They show it to everybody who come to their house. You know what? Look at this. 1,000 pages filled with that. So Prabhu Shri Ram says, okay, that was your objective. So you got what you wanted. You got a fame. People know you. They appreciate you. तुम्हीच करू शकता, आम्ही नाही करू शकत. झालं, तुझं काम झालं. आता तुझा माझा संबंध काय? You are done. The transaction is over. So मी कोणाला मुकलो? मी रामालाच मुकलो. I defeated the whole purpose of doing the Nama Japa. That's why I said there is a benefit, there is a pros, but there is a con also of using that Japa. But if your Sadguru has asked you to do, let's say 12 mala in a day or whatever the number you have been given, that is just to make you disciplined, by the way. That's the only objective, nothing more than that. Because that Japamala is diverting my attention. My attention is supposed to be on the very Nami of the Nama, which is Prabhu Shri Ram. And that too, there are at 3 different levels you have to connect with the God. Again, I have really limitation of time. I'm keeping, by the way, I'm keeping a watch, don't worry. I was like, man, Monday evening, I hope he remembers. No, I'll finish it in time, don't worry. But there are so many things that need to be discussed. How many Rams are there? For an example, let's talk about there are other names too, right? There are Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. But a lot of people do Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. How many Rams are there? 3. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. There are 3 Rams. Why? Because I am supposed to connect with Lord Shri Ram at 3 different levels. That's why. And I don't do all these things, and without doing all this preparation, I just sit down and I expect some magic to happen. First of all, I'm not interested in Prabhu Ram anyway. I'm only interested in completing that number, right? Because I have committed myself. Some brave hearts, they even have a list on that refrigerator saying, oh, आज का नाम हो गया, tick, check box. Check box से कुछ होने वाला नहीं है. Because the real bhakti, it talks about tad vismarane parama vyakulata. Narad Bhakti Sutra is speaking. Tad vismarane parama vyakulata. I should have so much love and devotion and bhakti in my heart for Prabhu Ramachandra that even if I forget him for a second, I feel bad. How did I forget about him? Tad vismarane parama vyakulata is the very definition of bhakti. And here, even if I remember him once in a day, I feel like, oh wow, I really remember God. What a vast difference. So we are supposed to connect with God at 3 levels. Again, in the interest of time, I will briefly touch upon that topic. It's again a topic in itself, very vast. But the first Shri Ram is the Saguna Sakara Shri Ram. He's the Dasharatha Nandana Shri Ram. He's the Shri Ram whose biography called Ramayana I can read. I can feel love for him. I can read his stories. I can get lost in those stories. You read Ramayana, I'm telling you, we have most of the people, 99% of us, we don't read the original text called Valmiki Ramayana, which is our history, by the way. How things unfolded during Ramayana times. Leave aside, today I will market about one more book for you. called Shree Kathamrut by Swami Govindadevgiriji Maharaj. It is available in Marathi and English. I'm not sure, Hindi, Marathi and Hindi. Why I'm saying this? When you read books like this, so that is an essence of entire Ramayana. You don't have time to read the Ramayana, you don't understand Sanskrit, it's okay. Read that book. Why? That book make me understand what are the highest moral values. So Ramo Vigravan Dharma. थोडे एक दोन वाक्य मराठीत बोलतो. The person who follow dharmic principles, it's called dharmic, right? The dharmic principles, his life is according to that. Great. That is how it should be. But the very dharmic principles were written after how Prabhu Sri Ramachandra behaved in his life. त्यांच्या वागण्यावरून धर्मशास्त्राचे नियम लिहिले गेले. हे आहे तुमचे प्रभू रामचंद्र, मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम. काय त्यागाची भूमिका आहे. नॉट ओनली प्रभू श्रीराम, रीड अबाउट भरत. आय विल आस्क यू अ सिंपल क्वेश्चन. Again, I'm really short on time, but some things I must say. Do you even know the name of Bharat's wife? Do you even know the name of Lakshman's wife? That's why I say, leave aside Prabhu Ramachandra, but even if you think about it, put yourself in their shoes. We know what happened. I'm not sitting here to explain Ramayana. I don't need to. All of you are Indians, you know. So when Prabhu Ramachandra is leaving the palace to go in Vanavasa, you know what Lakshman said, right? And he went with him for 14 years. Did he even ask his wife? Forget about Lakshman. What about Bharata? We know Bharat went to Chitrakoot. Prabhu Sri Ramachandra said no. He got those paduka. He brought it, kept it there. We know all the stories, right? I am asking you a question, if you do not know, by the way. For 14 years, Bharat was living in a small town called Nandigram, which is only couple of kilometers from Ayodhya. He did not meet his wife for 14 years. And all these brothers were just married in our language. Why I am saying all these things? त्याग ज्याला म्हणतात, त्यागाची जी भूमिका आहे, the renunciation. म्हणजे even if you talk about Lakshman's wife and Bharat's wife, can you do that? Can you even imagine doing that for 14 years? Does anybody even talk about what they have done? Bharat, for example, it is not easy. A kingdom without a king is a vulnerable position, by the way. Anybody could have attacked Ayodhya, but nobody dared. Why? Because Bharat was there. लेकिन भरत जी न्यासी थे. He was a trustee in today's language. Means he held all the responsibilities without power. राज्यावर नाही बसणार मी. I am not going to be the king because my brother is the real king. त्याच्या पादुका ठेवलेल्या आहेत. वंदन रोज सकाळी उठून पूजा करायचे भरत महाराज त्या पादुकांची. हे मी सगळं का बोलताय माहिती आहे? डोळ्यात पाणी येते सगळं. ते मी तर चॅलेंज देतो. यू रीड दॅट बुक आणि देर आर नो टीयर्स इन युअर आईज, कॉल मी. आय गिव्ह माय नंबर. This helps you develop that love and that connection and that affection for the very Lord Rama, whose name I am chanting. That's when त्या प्राण ओतल्या जातात त्या नाम साधनेमध्ये. मग then my mind stops wandering. Then because I realize the magnificence of that life called Prabhu Sri Ramachandra. I mean, it's awe. I consider myself fortunate enough that I can sit down and spend at least an hour of my life taking his name. That is the first Shri Ram. The second Shri Ram is the Ishwar Prabhu Shri Ram. Ishwar, Lord, who created this entire world. Now I'm not talking about that Ayodhyapati or Dashratha Nandana or that avatar, that incarnation which is over now from that Yuga. No, I'm not talking about that now. Now I'm talking about the very Lord who created this world, who created me, who is Ruddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. सर्वभूतांच्या हृदयामध्ये तो आहे. ऐसा हृदयामध्ये मी रामू. Now I'm talking about the Atma Ram, which is called Atma Ram, which is in everybody's heart. That is the divinity. He created this world. He's the one who is sustaining this world, and he's the one who is going to destroy it one day when it's the right time. So when he created the world, he himself is called Brahmadev. Now that he's maintaining it, he is called Vishnu. When he will perform the last role, the very same Lord will be called Mahadev, Sadashiv. Just the roles changes. It's the same. एको देवः सर्वभूतेषु गूढ़ः सर्वव्यापी सर्वभूतांतरात्मा कर्माध्यक्षः. Another serious topic, very related to Nama Sadhana. Karmadhyaksha. This is a Shruti. What is it telling me? He is a Karmadhyaksha. He is a Ishvara. That is the second Ram I am talking about. And what is my relationship with him? Oh, very direct relationship. What? Whatever I do, whatever the outcome of my action, he is the one deciding. Karmadhyaksha म्हणतात त्याला. Karmadhyaksha. For example, some people are very successful in life. Some people are not that successful in life. असं का होतं? I like to give that example. Why? Because I come from Silicon Valley. I like to remind people I come from Silicon Valley. Elon Musk. I don't know, some of that name figure in every day in my Pravachan these days. Just because he's the richest person on the earth, right? But Elon Musk, that company Tesla, my company SAP, I used to work for SAP. The headquarters of Tesla was right in front of it. The stock price was $10 at that time before split. Why? Because Tesla was a startup one day. Today we know Tesla because it is Elon Musk. Today we know Uber. Today we know Lyft. We know all this, but all these companies were started, including Google, they started in a garage. They were startup, but we only know about these companies. But guess what? We do not know about rest of the 98 point some percentage of the companies. But they were also startups and they failed. They failed. The question becomes, why did they fail? The CEOs of those companies, were they less capable than Elon Musk? No, they were actually more capable. There are more genius mind in this world than him. Then why did he succeed only? Why did these guys not? Karmadhyaksha. He decides. The Lord decides. Okay, how does he decide? There will be some governing laws, right? Or does he feel like, oh, I like this person, I'll give him whatever he wants. I don't like this person. Is that how God behaves or functions? No. That is a human thing to do. He says, I know what you have done in your past life, your past karmas, and you will only be rewarded according to that. So he plays a role of that Nyayadhish in the court. You know the judge offers, okay, this guy must be hanged to death. Now tell me, that judge, does he have any personal enmity with that person? No. The lawyers from both the sides, they fought with each other, they provided all the evidences. His crime has been proven beyond doubt, and the law says for this crime, this is the punishment. And the judge only hands over that punishment to that individual person. That is the role God is playing in my life. And I can fool the entire world, but I cannot fool him because he's right here within my heart. Even the very thought of fooling him is because of him. त्याच्या अधिष्ठानावरती तो विचार उठतोय, त्याला काय फसवणार आहे? What I'm saying is, there is a very serious and there is a very direct relationship of me with Lord Prabhu Shri Ram. What? Because everything I'm doing in my life, he's the one who's deciding the outcome. And he has said it so, but I did not remember it. What? What did he say in Bhagavad Gita? There you go. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You don't even have a right to say this is the outcome. There is nothing wrong in wishing it, by the way. What is wrong in wishing good life for my own kids? What is wrong in wishing them they should get a good admission in a good college? There is nothing wrong. And there is nobody saying you should not wish. But when I insist, I give birth to the misery we were talking about in the beginning. Because the moment I insist, see, this is how we go wrong with the Naam Sadhana. Here, I get up in the morning, I take that mala or don't take that mala, whatever it is, I do the japa regularly, but throughout the day, I object to what is happening in my life. That basically means I'm picking up the fight with the very Prabhu Sri Ram whose name I'm chanting. Isn't it? Think about it. It's a very logical thought. Because I have rejected his way of governing this entire world. This is his way of governing. Because if things start happening according to everybody's wish, imagine there will be a chaos in the world. Because I wish the same thing, she wishes the same thing, both of us want the same promotion. Only one will get, right? How is it decided? That's why I gave the example of Elon Musk. So that's why I give you the example of startups which are successful. किंवा निर्णय आडवे केले किंवा अभ्यासी घातले ते ऐसे कैसे केले त्याचा तूच जाणे श्रीराम. दासबोध समर्थ रामदास स्वामी स्वीटी की ज्याला यश द्यायचं असतं, इफ गॉड वॉन्ट्स यू टू बी सक्सेसफुल, तशी बुद्धी आपल्याला होते. यू all the decisions you make leading up to that success, all things fall in place. Why? Because you're destined to be successful. It has nothing to do with your potential also, by the way. You might have highest potential in the world, but you may not be successful. That is why I'm giving that example of 98% of the startups fail. That's a statistics, by the way. It's a hard fact. आणि अपयश द्यायचं असेल तर तो अज्ञान देतो किंवा निर्णय आडवे केले. लेट मी आस्क अ सिंपल क्वेश्चन अँड आय विल कम टू द एंड ऑफ माय स्पीच बिकॉज दॅट्स अ टाइम गिवन. When we make any decision in life, don't we think through all the possibilities? Don't we analyze everything? Oh, tell me about analysis. I'm an analysis paralysis person. But we do, most of us, right? We analyze everything. Taking an admission, this college or that college. Imagine, a hot topic these days in everybody's house. Or any decision in life, especially big decisions. We think a lot. It's not that we do things without thinking. No, we think a lot. We evaluate, we put all the possibilities, all the options on the table. Some people go to the extent of preparing an Excel sheet, developing some measuring scale, giving some points, and they do all these things. We talk to experts. If you don't understand, if my son want to go to medical college, I am not a doctor, so I talk to my friends who are doctor or some kids who have gone through medical college. Go talk to them. I share their number. So my point is, we do everything under the sun. We don't leave any stone under. Down the line, I realized my decision was wrong. I will ask you a question. Why? Why was it wrong? Again, that's also an interesting point. How do you decide the decision was wrong? Because it did not produce the results according to my expectation. That's why I say my decision was wrong. So it's my label, right? Right or wrong is my label. I'm attaching it to it. If things happen into my expectation, my decision was right. But if it doesn't happen, then it was wrong. So the question now becomes, if you go backward a little bit, why did you make that decision at that point? किंवा निर्णय आडवे केले, तशी बुद्धी मला झाली. I felt like making that decision. That felt like is the destiny which is orienting you on that path. And that's another beauty of this fact is whether you accept this or not, everybody is bound by these rules. Because that's a governing method of Prabhu Sri Ram, the Ishwar I am talking about. But the sooner you accept this, sooner you understand the blueprint of life. Half of the miseries of your life will be gone just like that. The spiritual ananda you will get one day, but these miseries, this unhappiness, this complaining all the time. Kundalekar Maharaj says, जो तक्रार करतो तो भक्त नसतो. What did he say? कारण तक्रार करणं is basically you are complaining against Lord himself, by the way. Again the very Prabhu Sri Ram ज्याचं नाव मी घेतो. किंवा दत्तात्रेय असतील, भगवान सदाशिव महादेव असतील, जे कोणी असतील, whoever your आराध्य दैवत गोपालकृष्ण असतील. You are complaining, that complaint is very much against him, by the way, if you haven't realized. So the moment you start complaining about life, you are complaining about God. Keep that in mind. Even if that one key takeaway, if you remember from today's speech, I think it is successful. Today's speech is successful. Because I'm very much complaining about against his system. But when I accept it wholeheartedly, without complaining, then what happens? Then the third third one I left is the Brahmarupa Ram. And he is the very embodiment of Ananda, the bliss. Anando Brahmeti Vyajana. Ananda eva khalvimani bhutani jayante. Anandena jatani jivanti. The Shruti Upanishad is speaking to us. That is the very source I was talking about. Why do everybody feel, I want happiness, I want happiness, I want knowledge, I want to survive? These are the basic instincts all of us have. Where do they come from? Where do they stem from? They stem from that very divine nature, because the very divine nature is Sat, Chit and Ananda, called Brahman. And that is the third Ram. And that is the real Ram. To become one with him, to have a communion with him, to have a union with him, is why Naam Sadhana is done. That is the real crux and the essence of Naam Sadhana. So the moment I say Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, I'm actually saying I am Brahman, by the way, if you haven't realized. Because that is real Ram, I said, right? The incarnations, I don't know if there's a Ram Prabhu Ramchandra's image here, but incarnations come and go. After that, Gopal Krishna. Now there will be Kalki in some due course of time, as we know. But that happens once in a yuga. So a yugat ne ekdaच yeto. So that incarnations, the avatar, they come and go. But Brahmarupa Ram, जो असतो तो येतही नाही, तो जातही नाही. कारण येणं आणि जाणं हे त्यालाच शक्य असतं. You can only travel from point A to point B when you are not at point B. Make sense? I am here, so I am not in California. So I say I will go back to California. ब्रह्मरूप राम जो आहे तो जाईल कुठे? रीता ठावया राघवे विण नाही. रीता ठावया राघवे विण नाही, त्रिभुवन संचले विठ्ठलेला. सगळे संत तेच सांगतात. Unanimously they are saying की अरे, even this, like for example, there is a space, right? There is a space between us. We understand space, right? Thanks to modern science, we understand space. But space is also a physical thing, by the way. All of us live in the space, within space. We are accommodated. The space and time was created. It is a very physical thing. If there is a massive gravitational object like a black hole, the space around it bends, has been proved by Einstein. But still we think space is everywhere. In that limited sense, space is omnipresent. You break the atom, you go to the nucleus, what is there? Proton and neutron. What is revolving around? Electron. But what is between proton, neutron and electron? There is a space. You go to the subatomic level, there is still the space, but even that space is called gross in spiritual sense. Imagine. It is still gross. And Atmana Akashas Sambhutaha, that is the first Mahabhuta that got created. So the Brahmarupa Ram is even beyond that. So don't you think he will be all pervading? Omniscient and omnipresent? It is. But for a common person, it is very difficult to fathom that Nirguna Nirakara. Sadgana, Chitgana, Ananda Ghana. It is not easy. It takes a lot of spiritual, very hard spiritual practice. And that's why, to make our life easy, he was brought to some form, which we call Prabhu Shri Ram. So that is a God with form and attributes. आता त्याचं चरित्र आहे, त्याचे चरित्र वाचता येतं, त्याच्या कथा वाचता येतात, त्याचा आनंद घेता येतो, त्याची पूजा करता येते. I can do a puja. I can offer flowers. मी नैवेद्य दाखवू शकतो. I can do all these things. But always keep in mind, सगुणाची नि आधारे निर्गुण पाविजे निर्धारे. The destination is निर्गुण. The destination is निराकार. The ब्रह्मरूप राम. त्याच्या सोबत मला काय व्हायचं आहे? एकरूप व्हायचं आहे. बरं, हे तरी सगळं कशासाठी? Going back to where we started. When this happens, when I become one with him, when I realize that, oh, I am that very divinity, then what happens? Anandaचे डोही, आनंद तरंग, आनंदाची अंग आनंदाचे. तुकाराम Maharaj. Because according to my standard, Tukaram Maharaj's life was so miserable. Everything was wrong in his family life. If you know his biography, those who know his Tukaram Maharaj's biography, if not, then read it. I have everything right in my life. There's a Tesla standing on my driveway. Again, I come from Silicon Valley, right? $2 million house. Wife working for Google, husband working for Apple. I'm typical Silicon Valley picture I'm painting in front of you. So, one's son is following medical science. He will become a doctor soon. Daughter is becoming a lawyer. What's wrong with life? Everything seems to be so perfect, but still there is unhappiness. They have their own reasons to be unhappy, by the way. And look at Tukaram Maharaj's life. If you ask about Tukaram Maharaj, how are you? He is saying, Ananda se to be Ananda Tarna. There is nothing but bliss in my life. But I see everything wrong in his life. And here comes me. Perfect resume, but completely unhappy. That's why. Because I am seeking happiness. He never sought happiness. He always sought Vitthal. And Vitthal is the very embodiment of Ananda. Te he Parabrahma ube vitevari. And this is the whole crux of spiritual science. The Paramartha ha phakta त्याच्यासाठी आहे, बाकी कशासाठी नाही. And everybody is seeking, again I am saying, again and again I am saying, everybody is seeking happiness. But that is where we are going wrong. We should be seeking Ananda, and to seek that, the way to seek Ananda, the way to seek that divinity, the easiest way given in this Kali Yuga is called Naam Sadhana. And the only difference, the last point I will say, and I will stop. We are talking about the difference between Nama Smarana and Nama Sadhana. So when you are doing Nama Sadhana, now I am sitting here, close my eyes, my legs folded. I should consciously listen to what I am saying. मी जेव्हा नाम जप करतो तेव्हा लक्षपूर्वक ते ऐकायचं आहे. You know why? We have been given 5 senses. We know, all of you know. I don't have to explain what 5 senses. But out of those 5, the 2 senses are most important. This one and this one. See, Shastra kasa vichar karta. Why? Because these 2 guys, they get in contact with the rest of the external world remotely. Think about it, huh? This one, the touch, sparsha, rasanendriya, this actually needs to come in physical contact with its subject. But these guys, they connect remotely. Out of those 2, this one can be closed. The world is gone for me, just like that. Because I close my eyes, the world is gone. I mean, so-called gone. It doesn't go away, that's the problem. Mentally, it still stays within. But this thing, this indriya, jnanendriya, cannot be even closed. So the way to close that is Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Listening to what I am saying. Listening to what I am chanting. Consciously listening. Huh? Why? Because there are not only these 5 input devices, there is a CPU also behind it called human brain. ज्याला आपण in simple plain terms mind, की जे जगभर हिंडतं ना नामस्मरण करताना. Why? Because these input and output devices, they work in parallel. Those threads are fired in parallel. IT language, a little bit, computer science. But CPU is doing its own thing. म्हणजे आपलं मन. But when that CPU is also engaged in that very process, because I am now consciously doing that, I am listening to it. I am listening, I am saying it and I am listening to it. I am saying it and I am listening to it. So I am basically avoiding all the pollution. Would you eat anything? Let's say you are cooking something and somebody says, oh, you know what, there are some impurities in this. तुम्हाला कणकेमध्ये भेसळ आहे कळली, तुम्ही कराल का पोळ्या? Just throw it away, right? मग रामाला चालेल का त्याच्या नामामध्ये भेसळ तुमच्या विचारांची? नाही चालत. These are ही रहस्य आहेत नामसाधनेची. So when you do a nama sadhana like that, you start actually enjoying the namasmarana, the nama sadhana, the very nama sadhana. That's when you start developing that love and affection and devotion. And काय म्हणतात गोंदवलेकर महाराज, अहो ताकात लोणी आहेच, घुसळा तर खरी. ते घुसळल्याशिवाय लोणी बाहेर नसते. दॅट लोणी इज त्या नामाचं प्रेम. दॅट बटर दॅट कम्स आउट ऑफ बटर मिल्क इज द इसेन्स ऑफ नाम sadhana. But for that, for how long you have to do this? Or put it nowadays, there are machines, you are fortunate. That's what exactly we do, by the way, when we don't do the nama sadhana right. We outsource that, like making a butter out of a buttermilk, we outsource that job to the mixer. Here I outsource that job to a machine called Swara Yantra here. Because my nama sadhana comes from, my name come from here. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. You know, so like when I came, there was a machine. I'm sure there was a machine because it was switched off. You can switch on and you can switch off. My Sadguru asked a question. ते मशीन कधी मुक्त होणार आहे का? इवन इफ आय कीप इट ऑन रेस्ट ऑफ अवर लाईफ, ते मशीन मुक्त होणार आहे का? नाही. मग हे पण मशीनच आहे. ते जसं यंत्र आहे, हे पण यंत्रच आहे ना, याचं नाव स्वर यंत्र आहे. हे कधी मुक्त होणार आहे का? नाही. द लिबरेशन इज ऑफ अ सोल्स लिबरेशन. जीव मुक्त होणार आहे. मग ते मनापासून नाव घेतलं तर होईल ना, ते इथून घेतलं तर कसं होईल? ते इथून आलं पाहिजे. इट शुड कम फ्रॉम युअर हार्ट, बॉटम ऑफ युअर हार्ट. And that is the essence of Nama Sadhana. And when you do that, there will come one day when you become one with Prabhu Shri Rama, and then you also become an embodiment of Ananda, like Tukaram Maharaj. And then you will also describe about your life like Ananda Chedohi Ananda Taranga. आता माझ्या जीवनात काय घडताय, it just doesn't affect me. My life continues, by the way. Life continues. Life doesn't change. Same boss, same office, same traffic jam. Same wife, same husband, same children. But guess what? Now what happens doesn't affect me anymore. And I am in that blissful state all the time. Ananda Sedohi Ananda Taranga. Because now I have become one with, I realize God. I realize the divinity within me. And that is the objective of Naam Sadhana. With that said, my prarthana at Prabhu Shri Ram's charan, lotus feet, that all of you achieve that what Nama Sadhana has to offer. Again, I will say, there are a lot of things that have been left unsaid because it is a very vast topic. How the Nama Sadhana crosses five panchakoshas, or the 5 layers of ignorance. There are 4 Vani you must have heard about: Vaikhari, Madhyama, Pashyanti, Para. When the Naam continues in those 4 Vanis, what happens? That's what I said. It's a big topic, but I have to do the justice to the time given to me. And the time is more than over. So I think I will stop here. But if you have any questions, if whatever, based on how organizers permit, we can take it here or we can discuss it when we disperse. So again, with that said, भगवान प्रभू श्री रामचंद्रांच्या चरणी प्रार्थना करतो, या नाम साधनेने मला जे द्यायला पाहिजे, आपल्या सर्वांना जे द्यायला पाहिजे, ते आपल्या सर्वांना मिळावं. आणि गेले 1.5 तास जे काही, 1.25 तास जे काही वेळ झाला असेल, जे काही चिंतन माझ्या हातून घडलं असेल, ते चिंतन पुष्प, दॅट कॉन्टेम्प्लेशन, द फ्लॉवर ऑफ द ब्लॉसम ऑफ कॉन्टेम्प्लेशन, आय ऑफर इट एट द फीट ऑफ लॉर्ड श्री रामचंद्र. प्रभु श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. जय जय